Here we go. I think we're ready. We're clicking. Matt, can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Matt is the founder and CEO of an organization called Christian Union. Matt, what does your organization do?
We focus on Christian leadership development, especially at very academically intense universities in the United States. We started at Princeton, and we've got chapters at Harvard, at Stanford, at kind of a number of schools.
I have to tell you that the reason that I asked Matt to come on the air with us was I read an article this morning about AI, artificial intelligence, and the way that it is influencing education today. And in this case, you know, when we cheated in school, it was by looking at somebody else's paper or by, copying out of a book. We were cheaters of great integrity. Matt, it's not the case today. There are new ways to cheat, and evidently some students are doing that, aren't they?
Yeah, it's amazing. I've tried out this new AI. I don't know if you have, but it's really astonishing what it can do in terms of writing essays and papers. I've asked it to write papers on topics in the style of certain persons, and it's done it. So it's unbelievable.
Wow, that is amazing. By the way, our conversation with Matt brought to you by Marcus and Mack, voted best personal injury law firm in the Best of Indiana County contest. Marcus and Mack, a law firm representing injured people. Matt, there are obvious dangers for folks who do this sort of thing, dangers to their educational integrity, their integrity overall. What are some of the risks that they're taking by using AI to write their term papers and things of that nature?
Yeah, it's deeper than just the one paper they're working on, because if that habit is developed into them, then it has all sorts of negative consequences for their lives, for their future spouse, for their work situation, because it means that their integrity isn't there. And if a person gets into that habit, what will it mean for the success in life later on? It could be really disastrous.
Yeah, it's very easy to see how that could happen. And so it's also easy to see what a challenge it then becomes for the teachers, whether they are at the primary school level, the secondary schools, or the university, which it seems like it would be really, really dangerous. So how do teachers combat this kind of cheating?
Well, I think we'll need to do the best we can from a technology standpoint, but I think it points to a more basic need that isn't talked about very much in the ethical side of it, because the ideal, of course, is to have it be that they would never cheat, even if they had full opportunity, and they knew that no one would ever find out. But not much attention is given to this, and this is something we focus on in our organization, of course, and churches focus on, and even some other non-Christian religions. But with the decline of religion in the United States, it's going to make it all the more harder. I think of this inspiring verse in the book of Proverbs. In the first chapter, it says that the purpose of the book of Proverbs is to teach people to live disciplined and successful lives, to help them to do what is right and just and fair. And that's the purpose of it, and that has to go much deeper. Many churches, though, don't even offer Sunday school. Many parents, even if they have a regard for the Bible, don't teach the Bible, and that's where things have to change.
When we think about it then, those schools that are religiously based, they're based on the Christian faith at least, and maybe other faiths as well, they would seem to have a bit of an upper hand, but even then it can infiltrate, can it not?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There's the tendency and temptation to do wrong is at every human heart. But those who do have a religious background, and I would argue especially a Christian background, are going to do much better and to be much more successful in life, because the person that you damage is yourself when you cheat on these different things. I don't know if you ever cheated. I remember cheating one time when I was in elementary school, but the temptation is there, and we have to have it constantly reinforced through our church or maybe even through the colleges, the importance of integrity and being a man or woman of honor.
Never cheated, Matt. Always right up front, always honest about it all.
Hey, all right. Good for that. That's great. I hope you're telling me the truth.
It is, though, obviously very insidious. And, the teaching always begins in the home, does it not?
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of parents and others can be overwhelmed by the Bible. I mean, what's amazing is today with resources like YouTube, turn back to the internet, is the ability to locate videos and teaching on what it means to be a moral and ethical person. It's more abundant than ever. It's easier now than it ever has been in human history. I mean, you can pull up on YouTube these videos like the Bible Project and so many other things that go through, explain the reason why you're here, your purpose in life, why it's important to be faithful and disciplined and to have integrity. And it's really, really incredible. So it's there. It's easier than ever.
That being the case, I'm sure that you have a pretty strong case that you can make at the university level. But sometimes there can be resistance to getting into a university setting. Have you found that to be the case with your organization?
Yeah, it's mixed. We do our ministry as separate from the university, which keeps us from having to go by whatever they say they can want us to do. You have all sorts of people who are in leadership at a university, some who are open and fair and open-minded, some who are very much of a negative agenda towards Christianity or the faith in general. And so it very much helps that we do our programs separate from the universities. Now, sometimes they'll have us engage and do something with them for a special situation. We'll do that once in a while, but we work hard to maintain that independence. We think it's absolutely necessary if we're going to have the freedom to really teach what Christianity is.
Now, we began our conversation talking about artificial intelligence and cheating in general. When you think back to, you founded this organization 20 years ago, and I'm sure you had a certain set of goals that you wanted to pursue. Have those goals changed in a substantial way?
The challenges are higher, but the goals haven't changed. The students now more than ever get a lot of negativity in the social scene, as well as from the university context, professors and administrators. And mental health issues have gone up a lot as well, which means that we need to spend more time with them. We're not trained counselors. We refer people out, but still encouragement and this sort of thing can do a lot for them. But that's been steadily rising for decades, and it's got to concern all of us, because what will this mean for the future of the country if we're all overwhelmed with mental health issues?
Yeah, you're absolutely right there, and those are just some of the issues that we consider when we look at our university campuses today. And we see things like suicide rates, and we see dropout rates, and universities that, frankly, don't have near as many students as they should. And that's a problem here in Pennsylvania. I don't know exactly where you are, Matt, but I'm sure it's a problem that you notice everywhere.
Yeah, it really is. I'm in New York City, but it's a continuing, increasing problem, especially boys who are underrepresented in college. And what will that mean for families and future marriages if there's a big disproportion? It's about 60-40 between women and men. And so we need to bring the boys, the men back up to that level, equal with the women, which would be a great thing. But it's a concern, and it's a slow motion train wreck in many ways. I believe what's needed is for us to get back to God and to prioritize what's most important to Him, because when we do that, problems get solved in amazing and wonderful ways. We see that not just in the Bible, but even in history. If you look at the great moral reform movement in the United States, they came out of revivals. They came out of large segments of the population eagerly, earnestly returning back to God.
Matt Bennett has been joining us here this morning. He's the CEO of Christian Union. And Matt, where are we going to learn more about your organization? ChristianUnion.org. Very easy. Very easy.
Well,
and you have stepped in at the very, very last second, and I appreciate it so much. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. God bless. Take care.
And you as well. It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 11 FM and AM